Okay, hello Fernando.
Hey.
Tonight you're playing at the Underworld in London. The last time you were there was 2 years ago for the Alpha Noir European Tour. Are you happy to be back?
Definitely, it's always great to play the UK. The goal was to play a little bit more outside London. We couldn't make it this time, but for sure we want to, in the future, still with the Road to Extinction tour, to come back and play, just different city, not only in London, because people have to travel here, and they would like to see us, for instance, in Dublin, in Ireland, etc. So 3 days to go to finish the tour. The tour has been awesome so far. Great results, great responses. People really supporting us as a band, and also as almost as their own friends. When people are being so kind to Moonspell and also to our new album. That I'm really excited to play the Underworld. It's just a classic for us. It's probably the third or the fourth time we play it, and it has this charm over it, and tonight I'm feeling really keen on making a show in London. Actually, the first time we played outside Portugal was London.
Okay.
Yeah, back in '95. Yeah.
Great. With who?
Well, just by ourselves, and it was different. And there was a guy called Mike Devil's Church, and he had this kind of metal clubbing, and he started bringing live bands from the European underground. Many bands have been here, so actually we didn't play Cradle at the time, but Danny was at our show reviewing it for a magazine,
great.
and he gave us a good rate. And but we play with bands like I don't know if you remember Balsagoth, Does Defile, those kinds of bands. Yeah.
Great. Recently, your new album Extinct entered the Portuguese charts at number 1, and it's a commercial success. And so, how do you explain that you had to wait so many times to be very popular in Portugal? Because it wasn't the case when you started, and also it wasn't the case in the end of the 90s.
Well, Portugal, we had a fascist dictatorship from 24 to 74. So all the rock movement and consequently the metal movement was not something happening in Portugal, in the end of the 70s. So we had to catch up. So there is a delay, in the country, and finally people caught up with Moonspell and started recognizing us not only as a band that they like musically. That's the most important for us. We don't want people to buy our records because we are Portuguese ambassadors of metal. No, we want to buy them to buy the records because of our music, and they did it in Portugal. They did it in other countries. That's it. That's our catch. We don't have anything else going on for us than the music we did for Extinct. So I feel that it's great. It's a great achievement. It's a big step also for the Portuguese media to talk so much about a band that is not making indie or pop or popular music. So we came to a great place in Portugal. Our show in Lisbon was 3,000 people. Our show in Porto was sold out with 1,200 capacity, and we could have seen even sell more tickets. I mean, I don't go in my bunk every night and think how famous I am in Portugal. But honestly, it's something that happened, something of a recognition of our work as well, and the recognition that the fans also want to have a name and have a saying on the scene. There is always the other fans, artists that are on the charts. For me, it's great. We didn't celebrate because we were on tour. We never were in Portugal when the time is coming for celebration. It feels good, but we won't rest over any laurels. We definitely are a band that needs to struggle, that needs to be on the road, that needs to do a lot of stuff, even in Portugal. But I think it's a nice foot on the door, definitely.
Okay, and so as you know, the Portuguese society is generally very conservative. How the metalheads are currently perceived in Portugal by the general opinion, by the people in general?
Well, the results that Moonspell is having obviously benefit the metal community, and the public eye. But the question is that do we care? It's more this question nowadays with Moonspell. The game, let's call it this way, people cannot. A father cannot come home to a kid and the kid says, "I want to have a heavy metal band," and he can't tell him, "This will never happen for you in Portugal," because it happened with Moonspell, and that's a great thing. And that's the kind of acceptance that we need to have. Not if we go somewhere and people are asking for autographs of the other musicians. Obviously, there's a lot of respect. People who love us, people who hate us, even inside the metal scene. But for Portugal, we've been an important band to, in a way, water down the prejudice against metal. Yeah.
And regarding your tours, which tour? Well, in your career, which tour for you has been the most difficult? Is the first one, for example, with Morbid Angel and Immortal?
Well, or physically and logistically, that was the hardest tour because we've been 8 weeks on a van, and you don't want to do that. Of course, everybody dreams of punk rock, but the reality is different. But believe me, many bands have done this. We just toured a couple of years in the States, and a great band called Skeleton Witch. I don't know if you know them, thrash metal band.
Just the name.
They were touring on a van, and they were happy with it. Better van than ours. So that was a hard tour, but the tour that made the difference for Moonspell. Moonspell is a band that mixes hard times with good times. I never had a tour where I felt like a bourgeois, just sitting down, people giving grapes. No, this tour was difficult because of the Ricardo's father's passing away. That was emotionally, after it happened in Toulouse, one of the most difficult tours for us, and especially for Ricardo, obviously. So it's like this. It's hardships and great feelings. That's how we define mostly of the tours. And regardless of this tragic death on our family, this tour has been great atmosphere-wise. We got Septic Flesh. They are amazing. Too bad they're not playing London Bastards. They're going to Inferno, and they go to South Africa. I understand they have a band. They had prior arrangements, but they will be here because I know they have fans here and they know it as well. And we got now Lacrimas from Germany, great band, great guys as well. We got people at the shows, people like our music, so it was a very successful tour. It had this shadow, but that's the story of our life as a band.
Yes, and also you said that Moonspell had great times, but also more sad times. For example, I remember that regarding this first tour with Immortal and Morbid Angel, it was the time when you released Wolfheart and Under the Moonspell, and if I remember well, you went to Norway there and Scandinavia, and I remember that you received death threats from the Norwegian inner cycle. How was the reaction of the people of the public in Norway?
Well, we got this death threat actually from a famous musician, Mortis, that we played in Emperor, then he got kicked out because he's so talented. But I never took this seriously, honestly. I met Quarthen from Bathory in 1990, so I'm not impressed by Count Kirchnack or whatever. I even wrote with him when we were kids. I got the first Burzum tape on my P.O. box. And I loved Norwegian black metal up to the point that they start doing something else than music. Start being fascists, start burning churches. Of course, they were trying to fight against a certain Christianization of Scandinavia, which is a lot more recent than in countries like Portugal, Spain, and Italy that have always been Catholic since their birth as a country. So I didn't identify anything with it. That's why we got the death threats, because at the time you either sided with Norwegians on that chaos and havoc and wrecking everything, or you got death threats. But believe me, I was never afraid. I even met Mortis once in Mexico, and he was very ashamed of it, obviously, and he apologized. And we said, well, we're kids, sometimes we do stupid stuff, so that doesn't really matter. But I remember the first time we went to Norway on a van. We played the sold out place with the Morbid Angel, Immortal, and Moonspell playing for half an hour, 35 minutes. and you could hear the water drops falling between each show, because it was the height of the black metal. 1 week ago they were just throwing stones to the Paradise Lost bus on the same place.
Okay.
But we're Portuguese. I mean, fuck them. We played, and for me it was one of the most mystical, impressive concerts of Moonspell. I saw photos, we were possessed, some gothic girls liked us, Vampiria and stuff, but I remember that first time we went there, and then we came back to the same place with Samael.
Okay.
And we had a huge response, and they were asking for an encore, and I told the guys, not today, because it was our little payback for all the shit we got for time we've been in Norway. And now we go to Norway, and it's a great place for Moonspell to play.
Oh, that's great. And also, by the way, as we have just talked about black metal, I'm a big fan of Die Monarch. I have the Digipack CD. In the future, any new Die Monarch album coming?
Maybe not like Hermeticum, maybe something else. I never thought that much about the Monarch as people have, So for me it was something designed to make that record, to make that appearance, and basically it. But throughout the years I get questioned. We even got offered once a Dimmu Borgir tour, that professional bands want to do it, and they don't have it. So never say never in the music, whatever you want to call it, world, business, industry. But right now I have no time or wish or need to do something that I'm not feeling. I'm not going to do a black metal record right now. But maybe in the future my mind drifts over there, but not in a foreseeable future. Yeah.
Okay, and also in France, I saw that your new album Extinct hasn't been a commercial success as it was for your previous albums a long time ago. How do you explain that?
It wasn't?
I think you entered at number 122. I think for Sin Pecado, I remember that you used to sell a lot and it was really well praised in France. How do you explain that in terms of sales?
I don't times explain it. In '98 when Sin came out, people were not downloading stuff. There was not that factor in the music business, so we sold a lot in France. But albums I always have these different reactions. I remember that Sin, even though it sold a lot in Germany, it wasn't so well received as it was in France. France was actually amazing. But I see Extinct as a big success in France. We had a couple of sold out dates over there, Paris, Lyon, and we played a lot of the live songs of the new songs, and people were really into it. So nowadays probably success is not measured by the records you sell, but also by what people say about the album, how people feel it, and how people go to the shows and support you. So Extinct is going great in every country, and believe me, for a Portuguese band to chart at any place in France, it's already a win. And everything we can do, we will do. And people in France, all the feedback I have, they love the album, and they love La Baphomet as well. So I think we're doing great in France, and there was never an album. Sin was really a pick for us, but there was never an album that didn't well in France, and that we didn't have packed places. France is actually one of the best territories for Moonspell to play.
Okay, now the two last questions, very quick questions. For the song La Baphomet, you played it in Paris 2 days ago. Are you going to play it tonight, or is it a song that you will only play for France exclusively?
Well, some other people are asking for it, and I always thought that it will go much better in a country that is, francophone, I don't know the English word, but you never know. We're not playing it today because, on the London show we have to take care of going to other songs. We always like to move one song around, take it from the set, put another song, getting everybody crazy in the process. But not today. We're not playing La Baphomet. But I think it had a special feeling in Paris.
Yeah. And also you were wearing a hat.
It was a kind of,
it was fun. Really.
Kind of out of the box thing. But it was that one was for Paris especially, yeah.
Okay, and now the last question regarding Extinct. There's a song in which I really love the lyrics. The future is dark, a very sad song, which the lyrics are a kind of letter that you're writing to your son, and you're kind, in fact, of telling him that there is almost no future, bad things are going to come, and that yes, everything is going bad. Do you think that is this song a kind of metaphor of the current economical crisis that is impacting Portugal? Because it reminds me, what's currently happening in Portugal, with many families that have to say to their children that they don't have any job or no future in Portugal, and that they have to leave.
Well, fortunately, Portugal is not the only country in that position, So I'm not talking about a crisis, and I'm not only telling him that the future is dark. I'm also trying to write a letter to equip my son with the right tools, the right knowledge of the world. What I'm saying is that when we are a child, everything is, is a light, and everything we play, and we have these memories, these lightful memories. And I wrote this after a bad night, and also I'm trying to provide my son with information about the world, with information about the lack of light and how people fight against it, and how my son will have to fight in the world just like his father does as well. So I don't think it's a negative song or a pessimistic song. It's definitely a reflection of many things. Can be the reflections of innocent people getting killed by terrorists, can be the reflection of many people losing their lives because of economical terrorism as well, which is something probably that takes more lives than the religious terrorism. And what I'm telling him is that especially on the song "Without You There's No Tomorrow," the future is dark, but it's all that we've got. I always throw in a little the perspective of fighting against things. Extinction or Extinct, is not an album about only things coming to an end. It became an album how to fight against it. It became an album as well, how do we fill the void? And that's what I'm telling my son. It's not a song devoid of hope. It's a song that warns him that hard times will come, but that will be here, And I think that's the true meaning of the song. Moonspell is not like a black metal band from Norway that says, well, the world is ended and everything is shit and we are nihilistic. But then we get the fat paycheck from the state, to do black metal. Our realities are different, and maybe our reality is definitely harder. That's why the songs are more personal and private. But I see the future is dark. Also, the future is there as well, and we definitely have to conquer over the darkness.
Okay, so Fernando, thank you very much. Muito obrigado.
No problem.
And it was a pleasure. And now I think that I have asked you all the questions I wanted to ask since the beginning. So
no way.
once again, thank you so much for your
no problem.
all your answers. And I wish you the best for your band Moonspell and your friends and family. And I hope to see you many times in London, in Paris.
So. Yeah, or other cities. We'll be back.
Okay, thank you so much.